Well, I'm interested in stories that people have heard of and they're kind of out there in the public's mind, but that have a lot of complexity to them and that can be unpacked and where there's a hidden truth, perhaps. And that's what I've always done with the subjects I've tackled in the past, like war, terrorism, crime. They've always been, it's complicated types of films. No, I didn't. I mean, my one hesitation was that I absolutely needed to be sure that the guys were telling the truth and their families were telling the truth, because if they weren't, then it's a very exposed place to be, isn't it? And we would have had to can the film, and it was clearly going to be quite a lot of work to put this together and to check it all. So yeah, that was but I mean, that's a worry you have with any film. I expected a strong reaction because Jackson's someone for whom a lot of people have strong feelings, and his music is the soundtrack to so many precious moments in people's lives, and so he's a sort of a part of the fabric of our culture. So I expected that there would be a reaction, but I didn't expect one as strong as this, or as positive as this, actually. The allegations that Wade and James make are very strong, they're very well articulated, they're well corroborated by anyone else who was in a position to provide that corroboration. I didn't find anything on the record in the investigations by LAPD and Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department. I didn't find anything that shed any doubt on their claims, and I spoke to investigators. So I think this would have been a really strong case in a criminal court, and I think Michael Jackson might have gone to prison for a very long time if we'd made this film while he was alive. Well, the Jackson estate, I believe, have not watched the film either. So I think it's true to say that the Jackson family and the estate don't know what they're talking about because they haven't watched the film. How can you write a 10-page rebuttal of something that you haven't even watched? It's ridiculous. We've heard nothing at all. I mean, we've had, the estate lawyers have written a letter and the Jackson family have made a statement, but we've had no direct contact from the family. There are fans, and then there are the cultists. There are people who see him as a demigod and have incorporated that somehow into their identity and are terribly offended when you say anything that challenges that. I don't see how they can change. They can't change because their devotion is kind of religious, I suppose, and it's faith. It's not based on anything else. And they believe that because he was such a great musician that he must be a wonderful man. The ordinary Michael Jackson fans who just love his music and have played his music at their weddings or whatever social, the soundtrack to the happy times in your life, I think they're going to be, of course they're going to be saddened and shocked by this film. And of course they're probably going to feel differently about the music. It's never been my intention to topple Michael Jackson from his pedestal of, the king of pop. It's never been my intention to detract from the glory of his work. All I'm doing is telling the story of two very vulnerable little boys who were terribly hurt by Michael Jackson, and 2 decades later broke their silence to come out with the truth, and I think their story deserves to be heard.